Houston, it's your boy. I'm back. And before we get started with the episode, I want to say today was a warm day in Houston, Texas, and then all of a sudden it got cold. Well, the wind started blowing, so I dug into my bag of treats, the hoodie. Won't be having on a What's Next podcast shirt today because it's just me. You have me for the next 20 to 25 minutes. And before we get into the episode, I want to say I'm having a kid in July. 106 days left until baby D is here. Shout out to my wife who is carrying my baby. Shout out to my baby. This is episode 7, and I love you too. Peace and blessings. Let's get into the episode.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Dear John, the iconic legend Quincy Jones said, "To know where you came from makes it easier for you to get where you're going." Sean Diddy Combs said, "Everyone has challenges and lessons to learn. We wouldn't be who we are without them." If 2018 and the last 6 years taught you something, it's that anything is attainable with the right focus and determination. Continue to build. Continue to promote your vision. Continue to inspire creativity and make more creatives. In closing, Nas said, "No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. The first chapter of your vision's movements is done. However, you're still a visionary. Peace and blessings. John Ross."
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigger, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby, and I'm wildin' in
Houston, Texas, man. Welcome back to episode 7 of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. Today is March the 30th, 2019, and we have 276 more days in the 2019 year. My name, like previously stated, is John Ross Dike. And for a period of 25 to 30 minutes, maybe even less, I want to talk to you about the progress of the podcast myself and what I'll be getting into the second quarter of the 2019 year. So before we get started, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at John Ross Dike and still_visionary. I'm on LinkedIn under my real name, John Ross Dike, and the picture of my company logo is my profile picture. Make sure you visit my Facebook channel, my fan page, and like that. I also have a personal fan page, John Ross, like that as well. Subscribe to that for any updates. And make sure you visit my website at www.stillvisionary.com. At this point, with this being episode 7, right? It took God 7 days to complete the formation of the earth, and my baby, whether he be a he or she be a she, will be here in July. So first and foremost, like I said in the intro part of the episode, I want to say to my baby, I love you already, Daddy. Your father loves you already, and I can't wait to see you, hold you, kiss you, and find out what you love to do. Hopefully, like they say, you hear people say all the time that their offsprings, like if I was a professional athlete, my kid would more than likely get those genes, so he or she would be a professional athlete. Well, your father is a creative, and hopefully you get that creative gene. Your mother is that of your mother has creativity, I should say. She's not artistic creative, but she has her own methods, and hopefully you get some of those. So we know this. if you don't do anything else, you'll be going to college because you come from an educated family. So to my baby, whether you be a boy or a girl, I love you already, and I can't wait to meet you in July. So I know some people have been asking me, those that have found out that I'm expecting or my wife is expecting and I'm about to have my first kid. Some people have been asking rather, do you know the sex of the child? And I've told them no, that I wanted to wait. And the story behind that is a couple of years ago, I wrote a poem entitled Society, where I was just basically talking to my unborn child. And the first lines of that poem went, I remember your first steps. And before that, when the crown of your head popped out and you took your first breath, as your body emerged, I waited for the most important piece because I had elected to be traditional and wanted to wait to find out that when you needed to pee, would you take a stand to have a seat? So it's kind of symbolic for me now to just be waiting to find out in the laboring room when my kid comes out is if he's going to be a boy or if she's going to be a girl. So I just kind of wanted to uphold to that poem because that poem came from a spot, a delicate spot. And when I recite that poem, I always get emotional thinking about my first kid. But ladies and gentlemen, Baby D, love you. Kizzy, I love you as well. Gonna get into you in a second. But before we continue with the episode, I want to make sure that you have seen episodes 1 through 6. You have streamed them, listened to them. They're now streaming on the SoundCloud app and on the iTunes app. The SoundCloud app is under Still Visionary Inc. and the iTunes app is John Ross Dike. Subscribe to those different outlets and listen to the podcast when you go. Episode 1 was me. Episode 2, we had Wayne Willis, man. Wayne, to you, man, when you hear this podcast, I apologize because I had butchered your name in the intro of episode 2, and there was no way I could fix it because I didn't realize it at the time that it wasn't Morris, it's Willis. So I apologize for that. Episode 3, we had my girl, my sis, Jayla Jenkins, the founder, creator, and director of Jayla World Productions. Episode 4, we had my large brother, Wayne Steen, who's an up-and-coming chef in the city of Houston, Texas. Episode 5, we had my sister from U of H, Go Cougs, Ashley Odom of Amazing Occasions. And episode 6, my dog, my brother, a kid I went to high school, well, not high school, but a kid I went to college with, Trey Rogers, man. And by the way, Trey Rogers, one of his tracks would be my song, with the song that's on my mind when I get to that segment of the episode. But ladies and gentlemen, man, as a creative, right, you're only as good as your last project, right? And so I've tried to remain consistent because every time that you hear creatives talking, whether they have these huge platforms or whether they have, like, prime example, Trey Rogers in episode 6 was talking about consistency. When I think about consistency, I think about no matter what, no matter when, no matter how, I'm going to get you this product, right? And if you notice, between episode 1 and 2, there was a whole month and a half gap. You know, you can't rush creativity. Then I got on this roll where I did episodes 2 through 6, and it went week after week, week after week, week after week, week after week. And episode 6 came, and I hadn't recorded episode 7 to drop it because I didn't know which way I wanted to go. So by the time I figured out that I would do episode 7 by myself and just make sure that everybody's caught up on the previous 6, it got to a point where it was too late. Needed time to upload. I needed time to start that whole ball of, hey, episode 7 is on the way. It's dropping Tuesday, this and this and that. And prayerfully, hopefully, I won't have another break. But, I got a kid coming in July. So a big part of the acting realm is that you're cast for a project and you're getting ready to start the first day of production of that project. And for those of you that may know this, or I'm really talking to those that don't know this, you start to record or film that project maybe a year and a half in advance, and you do it all, right? So that when you get ready to, or when the production company gets ready to drop the product, you don't have that hiccup of, oh, you know what? We won't have one this week. We'll have one next week, right? So when we go into July, I would have probably pre-recorded all the episodes of July to make sure that we drop it on that Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, and I apologize about not getting episode 7 out last week. But you know what? I'll get into that portion of why I didn't get it out last week, and so you'll just settle for seeing episode 7 this Tuesday, the 2nd, April the 2nd, at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on my website, on SoundCloud, and on iTunes. So I'm overly excited to be back recording this episode. I'm overly excited to be becoming a father. I think that if when it is your turn, or whether you be a male or female, when it is your turn to become a parent, you get this push to wanna everything becomes part of that child. You want to be able to leave a legacy for your child. And that's what this is. If my kid doesn't get one thing from me, maybe not the height, maybe not the charm and looks, they'll get that creative gene. And if they can get that and continue to push Still Visionary Inc. forward, then my job is done, right? So as a creative, right, I haven't been doing a good job outside of the creative gene, right? And I'll say this, and the reason why I say that is, when you embark on a path, right, you delve into a path, you embark on a path, you start to ask yourself, the people that came before me, how did they do it, right? And as you ponder that question, you also have to consider the fact of, will you make it or not? Will you find that right buzz? How strong is your determination to get it? Yada, yada, yada. You look at the failures and the successes of the person that you kind of want to idolize yourself after, and you think about how they made it to that point. And so in thinking about that nugget, it started to hit me like, why are all the creatives, all the artists, whether you be a musician, an actor, an athlete to a certain point, why are all the creatives, the artists, always getting into divorces? Why do they always have these relationships and then these relationships falter? Why does that happen? And I started to think to myself that I was lucky, because my wife and I are going into our 2nd year of marriage, and I've always been an artist, but my artistry didn't come till late. I think Jay-Z said on A New Day on the Watch the Throne album, at 26 something, like he was basically saying that at 26 he knew that he was going to be a rapper, right? So that line was profound to me, because at 26 I knew I was going to be an actor. And even though before 26 had come, I was already involved with my wife now, then girlfriend, or courting her at least. And so when I think about why the creatives can never make it, that gene, or that lust, that determination, that desire to become this larger than life star, kind of makes your vision tunnel. So anything outside of that tunnel, you really can't see. And as a husband, I've been really, I'm a creative, but I haven't been creative in maintaining that relationship, and so that was a part of the reason why episode 7 wasn't recorded last week, because my personal life was and is in shambles. You know what I'm saying? So and when you're so intimately woven with somebody, you really can't, when you're going through that storm and it's rocky, you really can't, like for me, I can't say for everybody, but for me, I know for a fact that when my wife is not talking to me, or when we're not on the same page, it kind of just shatters me, rocks me to my core. So the creative part of me kind of fades, and I kind of get lackluster. I don't want to do anything. So to my wife, I want to say to you that I love you like the first day I saw you. And if you're listening to this, I apologize for being anything less than the creative John Ross. You know, I apologize for not being as creative with us as I am with Still Visionary Inc. You know, finding that last penny to be able to put into the company. I apologize for not being able to do the same for us. And, you know, my father used to say, a word is enough for the wise. So I'm going to take from that and make sure that the same amount of energy that I put into SVI is the same amount of energy that I put into you and I, you know. And so I love you, and I acknowledge this journey that we're going through as a married couple becoming parents, and I don't take it for granted. And, you know, this episode is dedicated to you and Baby D. So I want to end that segment off with a quote from a guy who I often reference Joe Budden, but I just really kind of vibe with his journey. I vibe with his artistry, and he brings a lot of. I find a lot of inspiration in him. You know, I really like him. We're both Virgos. I really like his style, his artistry, his career, and I like how he's always been determined never to be shut out. And I kind of see myself too. I'm determined never to be shut out as well. So I keep reinventing myself to be able to maintain my platform. But a quote from him is, normally it's just me and my lonely mind. Everyone's storm is different, so this forecast is only mine. And to wrap that first part of the episode, I want to say, normally it's just me and my lonely mind. Everyone's storm is different, so this forecast is only mine. Houston, Texas, I want to play this song for you, and I'll be right back. You're watching and listening to episode 7 of the What's Next podcast. Peace and blessings.
Hazy Ray was had, Michelle, my bell was shaking. Free, just get the shit cracking. Wild Rose, just get a couple plaques in. Ooh, 2-6 was good. Shadyville, Southside, wish you would. Smarter than ever, but thought I could bother forever. Karma just met her, she caught up with a fella. Pills in the leather, made deals for cheddar, instilled in me on park benches and a starter clever. Hard to remember, now hard to recall, but painful to look at the painting of a fool as an artist for all the boo. Call her audible like Peyton seeing a blitz. The events of my legal fourth quarter, I saw the D before the snap. And as my life's quarterback, no, I can't get this quarterback. Divine intervention to play, y'all just call it raps. And I dare referee to call it back. Who in hell won't challenge my Hail Mary? Pretty as Halle Berry, my savior, I'm favored highly, very. A public fucking with my flavor, now I'm basically cherry. My girl left, I miss you more, Shetty, you more. But this guilt I can carry no more. The world's next, and no rest for the wicked, no rest to fix it. At quiet times I see riots, no silence, it's definite. The type of shit to make you think death wouldn't be detriment. You think you seen a low till you sing to a new death again. Had to meet out the deep. No sleep, ironic, awakens when I see sheep. See, money is hallowed, so we follow, but I'm all hollow. And how low must I go before I holler my hollow? Hello, thank God for my freedom. Ooh. And all my niggas, Omar Tar to freedom. And for the beats, y'all feed 'em with no fee. I put feats on the track, double entendre running back. Call me pretentious, but I ain't talking pretend. They say I'm ostentatious, well I ain't talking to them. I've been awful patient, I'm practically IV, but I'm confident cause I conquer shit. The realest IE that I've seen. My opinion. Keep this thing rolling. Keep it rolling, James. So game up, eternal learner. Same reason I'ma be the eternal earner. Bread for any weather, get bread in any weather. Plenty pressure, pennies stretch to the Fendi sweaters. Roaming through the Coliseum, blowing my PM, not knowing I'm built for shows at the Roman Coliseum. Y'all just get stoned, I get stoned for what I believe in. Excelsior in the stone of a mausoleum. Wait till it's my museum. I love you, Miss Annie. One smiling face amongst the very pissed family. I'm obsessed with success, it's gonna take a couple checks. Let's do this here as big as I need. I'ma need a couple beans, cause they say that beans talk. Well, that beans talk big as a tree. So when these pockets get fatter, we climbing like Jacob's ladder till nobody living bigger than me. So what do? Think big, think smart, run fast, jump high, love strong, die hard, not marginal. We all in, let it ride. If you reach for the moon and you miss, you can land on a star, you know. Think big, think smart, run fast, jump high, love strong, die hard, not marginal. We all in, let it ride. If you reach for the moon and you miss, you can land on a star, you know.
Houston, welcome back, man. Round of applause for that. Like I said before, man, when you're a part of somebody's journey, it makes it all so much sweeter for you. That track was Think Big by the Nice Guys. Anytime in my creative journey that I'm stunted, I like to play that track to remind me that it's a bigger picture and I need to just think big about it. So what do we do, man? For me, so this month, April the 13th, which is next week, this episode is dropping on the 2nd, so the week after that will be the 9th. So the week of the 9th, that Saturday, April the 13th, I'll be in a stage play. This is my third or fourth stage play. I brought J-Lo on the episode to talk about the stage play in episode 3, now playing on the website, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And I'll be playing the character of Jason Winters. My brother is getting married, so I go out to support him in his wedding. And it's a whole bunch of secrets that come out that weekend that we're in wherever we are in the play. But it's going to be a good show. We have 2 shows that Saturday, one at 3 p.m., one at 7 p.m. at the Third Ward Multi-Service Center. Make sure that you get your tickets from me before the 11th of April. That is that Thursday. After that Thursday, I won't be able to sell tickets anymore. You can either get them at the door for $25, or if you're feeling like treating yourself, you can get them in VIP for You can get into VIP for $35, right? So I suggest that if you're not doing anything April the 13th, a Saturday, you come out and you watch me perform with my peoples. We'll be up there at 3 and at 7 p.m. That's 1. 2, my man, Cliff Morris, shout out to you. He wrote a short film for me in honor of me having my first kid. The name of the short film as of right now is called New Arrival. I'm going to bring him on later on to talk about that script, the process of writing a script, and the process of being an English teacher who can write but doesn't have time to write because you're the head coach of a basketball program that I coincidentally coach for as well. So I'm going to be bringing my man on to talk about that. That'll be maybe my second or third short film. And I'm looking to do that in May sometime, right before my baby drops. So April will be, so the next 200 and, what did I say it was? 76. The next 276 days. Within the next 276 days, I am gonna be in a stage play April the 13th, and I'm gonna be recording a short film. Right. So all of that within the span of my wife being pregnant and closing out the school year and graduations for the class of 2019. So, yeah, man, I said 25. Excuse me. So the songs on my mind, I have a few of them, right? Of course, I'm going to go with Think Big by the Nice Guys. I'm going to go with Blessed by Daniel Caesar. And I want to go with Dumb Out by Joe Budden. Okay. Did I have another one? No. Oh, no. I'm tripping. So I want to go, my first song of the first song that's on my mind is Think Big by the Nice Guys. The second song on my mind is Blessed by Daniel Caesar, because I'm blessed to have a beautiful woman in my wife, and I'm blessed to be becoming a father. The third song is Joe Budden, Dumb Out. And the last song that's on my mind right now is Marathon by my man Trey Rogers, which is now on all streaming platforms. So if you haven't heard it, I suggest you listen to it. It's a dope song. He's up and coming, and he's grinding, right? So what's next for me? Like I said in episode 1, in the next 106 days, by the time you see this, 105, 104, 103 days, April the 2nd, I will be becoming a father. Houston, Texas, it's my time. Peace and blessings.
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigger, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby. And I'm wildin' in my wallies, and them valleys, no Pilates. More wet, get you more wet. Nah, that's these Spumante. My crystal ball, I see crystal. I crystal y'all with that. I saw the sign like Ace of Spades. That Ace of Spades get cracked me like cheers to the money guys. The Willie niggas who buy them bottles and then they spill these liquors. Yo, salute my dude. I see you, dawg. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it rose rain when your cloud is 9. Get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice and naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust. Fuck is up. Over and done. Overdose. Guess we did it again. Sipping with no remorse. We gon' do it again.